Welcome, God of War fans! My name is Shayne Static, and today we're going to be taking a look at Atreus' tattoos. So we're going to be taking a look at them, translating them, and seeing what we find. So please leave a like if you do enjoy your time here, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more God of War content. Here we go. Atreus, our little boy who has grown as a warrior and as a god through our adventures with him. From a boy barely able to raise and fire his weapon to a full-fledged badass, and even worked through his little douchey moment where his newly found godhood went straight to his head. And we couldn't control him for a portion of the game, which was completely annoying, but I digress. But has Sony Santa Monica placed some secrets on Atreus' body that may hold some key features and story for the future God of War Ragnarok, or whatever the genius Cory Barlog is going to call it? I do think so. So let's take a look at some of Atreus' tattoos. Stay tuned until the end because the last one I'm going to translate may give a huge hint into the future of the God of War series. So the first tattoo I want to look at is Atreus' neck tattoo. So if you ask me, this is a really cool tattoo to begin with, and I have thought of getting something similar done, but I haven't got that far with it. But let's see what this tattoo on Atreus says and what it could mean for the future of God of War. So at first glance at this tattoo, we can see that it is an Elder Futhark, which is the Elder runic writing of the Scandinavian and Germanic people. So with using Elder Futhark and translating this tattoo, it says Logan Hug, or at least that's what I think it says. But what does this mean? When translating this from Norwegian and Swedish, it roughly translates to long huge. Well, I'm not sure what your first thoughts on this are, but yeah. But I didn't think this is what it really meant, so I translated it from Icelandic, which came out making way more sense. So when translating Logan Hugh, it actually means calm mind, which makes perfect sense once you think about it for the series. So Atreus, most of all, he is an archer, so having a calm mind to have him focus on the target makes perfect sense. But if you look a little deeper, he does struggle with hearing voices and hearing the minds of animals. So maybe having a calm mind will help him understand more things around him, like Charlie, the turtle that rests on top of Freya's house in Midgard. Or to start understanding the other voices that have come to him in his head, like the ones we hear in Elfheim. Maybe in the future God of War this may play more of a role in the story or figuring out puzzles or anything else, but time might tell. The next tattoo I want to look at is on Atreus' forearm. Now the translations on Atreus' tattoo on his forearm was a little more tricky, but I think I'm at least pretty close. So the ones going down his forearm towards his hand says, at least how I translate it, Striker, Armor Striker. So off the bat I was thinking Armor Striker, which makes sense because once again he's an archer and he strikes his enemy with a metric ton of arrows. Okay, so far so good, but when translated from Norwegian and Icelandic, it translates to Strength Arm Strength. So this in my head can mean two different things. So one thing I was thinking is that since the tattoo is on Atreus' drawing arm to pull back the arrow, okay, that could be it, but what if it can mean something else? What if Atreus will get stronger as he gets older, like his papa Kratos? It could happen because we are just learning about Atreus' godhood and his powers. So this tattoo is actually connected to the one that's going around his forearm. Also, this one that gave me a lot of trouble as well because the runes are actually repeated several times. So I started splitting up the letters into two words, which gave me a lot better results. So the translation that I came up with is Hap Striker. So when translated from Norwegian and Icelandic, I came up with Lucky Shooter, which can be a good description of Atreus as well. He is a great shot and has probably come up with some lucky ones as well, especially during my playthrough, such as killing an enemy at the last second before Kratos died in combat. I'm sure plenty of you have had this experience. I know it's happened to me, probably you as well, so this may be very well a good description and translation, but what do you think? So the last of Atreus' tattoos that I want to translate is the one on his right hand, which is by far my favorite. So we can see these runes right here on his hand, but what do they mean? Well, with my translation, they came together as the word Prada Hound. At least that's what I think it says. And translated from Norwegian and Icelandic, this means speed dog or speed hound. But why does Atreus have this tattoo? So one theory of mine, but not my favorite theory, is that this means Atreus is quick and agile, which does make sense. he is quick, especially when we tell him to shoot a ton of arrows quickly at our enemies. Sure, makes sense to me. Also toward the end of the game where we have boosted his stats and fighting abilities, that he has become very quick little warrior. But it does not explain why Sony Santa Monica used the word hound or dog. I like this next theory much better and actually slightly confirms one of my earlier theories about Atreus, which can be seen right here. So my second theory, like I said a million times, I like much better than the first, is that hound or dog plays a more significant role with Atreus. Remember when Atreus first learned about his godhood? What was the first question that he asked Kratos?
Can I turn into an animal?
So this is why I think Atreus says this, and why he actually wears a wolf pelt through the game. But it is because Atreus will be able to shapeshift into a wolf in the future God of War games. This is actually what I think will happen, but I do not think it will be just any wolf. Now this instance comes from the book God of War Lore and Legends by Rick Barba, and I'm going to give you a summarized version. Kratos is off hunting or doing whatever he does in the woods, and Atreus is home alone. Suddenly a pack of wolves show up and surround him. But Atreus is not scared, and the wolves appear in front of him in a semicircle and all howl at once. Then Big Daddy Kratos comes running up and the wolves disappear into the woods. Kratos asks Atreus if the wolves harmed him, but Atreus almost found this funny, as they would never do that to him. So this is an instance where wolves actually honored or praised Atreus. So I think that Atreus will be able to shapeshift into the mighty wolf Fenrir. Yes, Fenrir, the giant wolf in Norse mythology. With all of these hints and knowledges that we have discussed, it makes sense to me. So what do you think about this theory? Do you agree, or do you think I'm way off? Tell me in the comments down below, and let's discuss it. My name is Shayne Static, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.